still feeling like there's something that they want to get. So let's find out what it is as we jump into the draft.
Yeah, a lot of picks have been thinned out. But still a lot of just... I mean, remember last time, Kiwoom DRX banned triple junglers. So...
Yeah, they could do that again.
They could.
You know, Vi, Maokai...
Here's why I think they probably won't. Because they're second pick.
True.
And there's a lot of really powerful things you probably have to ban.
Well,
unless you ban... Okay, here's a crazy thing. You ban 3 junglers and you leave Rumble, Rise, and Karma open. Hope HANJIN BRION doesn't ban them, and you just give them 1 and take 2. But looks like that's not going to happen. They're banning the Karma first and foremost. Kevin ban coming through with Na already gone. Any Renekton pickers? A classic for casting?
Yeah, I think they might be going for that. They don't need to ban the Na. That one's already taken away. Xin Zhao also going to be hitting the deck. This means that they're aiming for, I guess, Jarvan or Renekton. Rumble obviously has to be banned.
HANJIN BRION's so generous that, like, oh, we know you wanted to ban all those junglers and probably can't this time. Here, take one. Here's a free jungle ban.
Yeah, just give it a freebie. I wonder what this means Gideon's looking for.
Well, I think what it might be is they might be leaning towards, like, potentially the Pantheon.
Oh, yeah, true.
Expecting that to maybe be left open because the Rise still needs to be banned. So I think by banning the Cassiopeia, the Anivia's gone too. They're basically saying, please, 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 please ban Rise. And then we first pick Pantheon. That is basically what
I think they definitely cannot ban either Rise or Pantheon, because now you want either of them, right?
Yeah.
Maybe that's what Kiwoom DRX need to go with.
Well, I think by having the Cassiopeia and the Anivia, they're trying to force the Rise ban and not do the trade. They're really kind of... That's what the Cassiopeia ban is doing. It's saying, guys, you don't have an answer to this. You're going to have to do it. And then you just slam the Pantheon here for Gideon, who has had a very strong early game so far this series.
He's looked very good. And I already wrote it in. I mean, Pantheon was the obvious pick up here. I want to know what Willa's answer is going to be. What have Kiwoom DRX cooked up for us?
You know what? I'm going to say it. It's probably just Jarvan.
Well, it's Renekton first.
Yep.
Is it Renekton the 4th? Maybe like, that's what we're looking for.
You guys ban Cannon? I will just take the Renekton, and it is going to be Jarvan.
Right. So it's not exactly the most inspired response to the Pantheon. We have just entered tier list territory.
Yes. Yeah.
But where does HANJIN BRION go after this? Because maybe this is going to give us a little bit more information. Talia, possibly an option. Instead, Yunara will be locked in for Teddy
Lulu.
And Lulu right alongside it.
The big thing is, because they went for the Renekton Jarvan here, you can't fully respond to this. You know, you can't go Corki Nami. You can't go Ashe Seraphine.
You can go Mel.
You can go Mel. And I think it's better to pick a mid laner here than pick a bot laner, because anything you take... There's a lot of strong duos, and anything you take, the other half will be banned away. That being said, they're probably just going to ban, you know, maybe like Nami Seraphine gets banned here by HANJIN BRION. So not really much you can do about that one.
Yep, I think it's a really good idea. I think you need to do something about the potential Ashe Seraphine that could be coming in. But maybe LazyFeel and Andil have cooked something up. They've got a bit of an option outside of the meta to go towards, as the Gwen is going to be banned, just continuing down the protect the Renekton line of thinking. But there is the Nami ban to come through first, and I imagine Seraphine is quick to come out afterwards.
Yeah, so trying to limit options for casting in the top lane. Gwen not a pick we've seen really at all since we came back.
All right,
Cassante. So, yeah, just trying to think of what he could play in the top lane. Not really throwing anything towards the mid lane to trim away what Loki can offer.
Yeah, Loki can kind of just play whatever he likes, but there are a few things that have been taken away fearlessly already, as well as the Rise and the Cassiopeia. So it's not like a massive amount of mid lane champions up and available. There's that Seraphine, the very obvious Seraphine ban.
What a shock. How did I know?
Yeah, you're a genius, Aux. That's why we pay you the big bucks over here at the LCK.
Yeah, and now for Kiwoom DRX, what can you actually set up in the bot lane? Bard?
Bard's pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Jin Bard.
It's probably just Jin Bard. No, they're going for the Corki.
Corki makes me more pleased than Jin.
Yeah.
Because it's not Jin.
But they're not going to have the Corki Nami. But they will still have the Corki, who obviously does scale pretty well. Can struggle into the Yunara Lulu if she gets wave access and can stack up that passive.
Yep.
Now, HANJIN BRION, what are they going to play into this team composition?
For some reason, I thought it was going to be Akali. But I still think like Talia's there. Viktor is a decent choice here. Right now, considering a top lane pick for casting, as the Zaahen would be a fun option. Bit brawly into the Renekton, taking their time though on what Loki wants to be playing here. Will it be the Akali? Will it be something else? That is the question.
Yeah, I mean, melee champions aren't fun playing ML because you get harassed in lane, but they do pretty good in terms of once you get on top of her, she doesn't have any mobility. Her W doesn't really do much compared to, you know, if you're playing a champion who's throwing out those projectiles. But it looks like they are just going to commit to a more stock and standard control mage with the Viktor.
Yep.
Does have a bit of vulnerability, I will say, into Bard, Jarvan. That's definitely a target in the Viktor that you can look to punish.
Oh yeah, I think Loki is going to have a difficult time in this game. Having a look at what is rebuttable, can you rebut polymorph? It's a projectile, right?
I would think so, yeah.
That'd be a pretty high value one. If you ever get the opportunity to do so.
Would it actually?
I guess, yeah, you just have a Lulu that's running around as a cute little critter. It's
she's
not
already
really
a critter.
much. Yeah, that's a good point. It is the most valuable CC that's on HANJIN BRION at the moment. It does
stop the CC, so it's that is nice.
That's more the main thing that I was thinking about. But there's no like Ash arrows, like really big things to be rebutted.
I think both teams kind of, for the most part, a lot of tier list picking. I think there is some little exceptions in terms of like the Mel, but I think a lot of the pools have been thinned. Again, we haven't had game 3s apart from one other series.
Oh, what about game 6s? It's going to happen. I mean, I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but I'm just feeling it today. I think we're going home tomorrow. I think that's what it's going to be like.
There is potential.
Yeah. These compositions are a bit of fun. I think we're also playing for some late game as well if you are HANJIN BRION, but there's a Viktor on the other side. Sorry, there's a Viktor alongside it. So there is a lot of late game here for the bros. So here we go. I love that the fan chants just get louder as the series goes on. Hysterical fans here at Shijik Lol Park today.
Yeah, I like
rightly so.
Because there will be some fans who haven't been before, and they're just building that confidence. You know, it's like the first fan chant.
Oh yeah, true.
It's like they're a little like, oh, you know, oh yeah, this is how we do it. And then by the third one, they're like locked in.
True.
Gaining experience over the course of the series.
As much practice as possible is required.
Obviously, we have the veterans who've been here for hundreds of series.
Yeah, like Mustache Guy.
Yeah.
Whose name we learned, but I think it's way more fun to call him Mustache Guy. I haven't seen him very much recently, but that might have been because I haven't seen him. He's probably still been here. As Rich and Casting facing off here towards the top side. How does this matchup go? I'm not necessarily fully across the Zaahen versus Renekton matchup.
Yeah, I think Zaahen was doing pretty well in this matchup early, but I think did get some nerfs. I'm not 100% certain how it's going now.
Right now it looks like Rich having an okay time, but Casting getting some knock-ups here and there, and she'll be all right. We know that Zaahen just gets more and more dangerous as the game goes on, really becomes that juggernaut in team fights later on. Grim Deliverance is a very scary ability to deal with, and so probably looking to see Casting have some impact in some team fights, which I think has been his forte so far this series. Is GIDEON with the level 3 gank, looking for Ucal. He rebuts nothing, has to flash. That's a great start here for HANJIN BRION.
Great, easy gank. Just finds an angle in after the 3 camp on the top side to punish Ucal. Now Ucal in a really dire spot, gonna have the recall and TP back in. So mid lane up to a good start already there.
Yeah, some trading continuing here towards the top side. As I think Jonas Strong is just really happy that we don't have a double tank matchup or something that's super boring.
Like a tank into a carry where it's just, okay, one side's getting bullied but just surviving.
Yep. This is a little bit more brawly. right now. The shove does go towards Rich, who will back away, get some vision down. And having a look towards the bottom side, it looks like Kiwoom DRX are just holding down the fort as best as possible. And will be dealing with this Rift Skull. The same thing towards the bottom side of the map for Gideon.
And Andil has a portal. He's probably fine, but he is already very low.
He misses the Cosmic Binding as well. And will just magically journey his way out. And
those
then,
Lulu autos.
Yeah, Pix is, you know, able to give a bit back, especially here in this early game. All right, Ucal makes his way back to lane though, only down 3 CS, so nothing really to be worried about. And Rich continuing to do well. Of course, game number 2, notwithstanding, but this time around might be a repeat of his Jace performance earlier on. And we know definitely a mastery player is Rich, and Renekton, one of those champions that he's certainly put a lot of hours into, as most of our top laners have. Oh, that feels bad.
That feels so bad.
It doesn't feel lazy, it feels bad.
Yeah, we were seeing a lot less Zaahen top lane. I think there was some trimming back of the power in the lane, and it was a lot more jungle Zaahen. We're kind of seeing in this matchup already, Rich just bullying out. And I think a lot of it is like when you're able to thrive and fight and have the passive stack, you feel so good getting that stacking AD and having the res on demand. But in this situation, if you just kind of zoned away, it feels pretty uncomfortable. Also going for the Bramble Vest first buy, which, you know, is reducing the healing from Rich, but doesn't feel super positive in terms of stats.
All right, Snare not quite going to work there, but Namgung coming in for a little bit of a gank. Some Coco going to be eaten here by Ucal, just trying to keep himself alive here in this lane, but he is bleeding creeps. We'll be able to pick up most of in that wave, but still a little bit of a rough spot.
Both top laners are like, you know what, you heal too much.
Yeah. Different school of thought here on both sides, as Rich with the Executioner's Calling going to be a little bit more damage focused. But I do like the idea, just teching in the anti-heal as much as they can. All right.
Oh, we see a play going on mid lane. They're trying to set up for this TP to punish. But the Pantheon's here.
Yeah, that is the flash in beginning and immediately knocked up. Oh no, good rebuttal there as well, just to make sure that nothing was going to go awry. And that is just going to spell an end to that aggression.
I think it was a good punish from Willa, but I think Gideon could have been more patient with that. I think he was so concerned about Loki TPing in. I think he could have played it slower. I think he rushed in a bit too quick and allowed them to turn it around. Because I think if they commit the flag and drag onto Loki, Loki's coming full HP, right?
Yep.
He's not going to die from one combo. But if you come in after the flag and drag is committed, you have free access to that Mel. It is a guaranteed kill without that flash available. And then you just win the 2v2. So I think a bit rushed from my perspective.
Yep. That being said, we need the game to stay as even as possible. As Loki, good sidestep there as he puts them in the gravity well. Still has to flash, though, to get out of the way of Ucal. As Andil possibly in trouble as well. Namgung comes up without very much blue stuff, so isn't going to be offering too many spells. Does have to heal, though, as Teddy flashed out already. Gideon now in that front line, and he's going to get stunned up. The Aegis, so incredibly powerful, though. Still, it's going to be first blood over to the Mel, but it's a 1-for-1 trade as the Arcane Storm comes down. Rebuttal trying to do something here as LazyFeel down to 100 health, and Namgung's able to lock down the kill onto the bard as he tries to magically journey his way out. Unfortunately, goes up instead. As LazyFeel, that phosphorus bomb, my goodness, Namgung, you have to get the heck out of there. Flashes immediately as Teddy dies.
And I was thinking how crazy it was that HANJIN BRION came out ahead in that passage of play with such low health bars. Really felt like it was on a wire for a lot of those points, but in the end it does end up even.
Equalized somewhat.
Yeah, I think we got a bit of an answer about how this matchup is going.
Yeah, really glad that it does just completely even out. But let's have a look at this craziness once again.
So, in this one, we see a lot of early cooldowns committed to try and set up the plays. Gideon even uses that spear, so he uses all of his passive stacks. And Namgung being a little mana, little spooky, but then they go for this re-engage here. Gideon's focused, soaks a lot of damage. It's a great route from Ucal, but that spear on the exit is massive. And it's just sad that LazyFeel's so low because he wants to contribute more in this fight, but he's struggling. And then here, they're trying to find a route out. Namgung ends up super low, has to flash, and then Ucal gets this cleanup here. So I think LazyFeel really playing with his health and able to survive to the end is kind of crazy with how low he was.
Oh dear, the Willa delivery as Cataclysm comes down. Teddy, he only just respawned and now he's going to be dead once again. 2 already on the floor as Gideon trying to soak as much damage as he can. Does a pretty good job at that, but 2 of his teammates are dead and Kiwoom DRX not stopping at all after a fantastic end to the last fight. They continue that momentum.
That was just massive value there for the Cataclysm, getting the 2-for-1. And Teddy, with no ultimate available, can't get out. You know, we often talk about champions who are good into Jarvan.
Arcane Storm doing something here, but the snare will connect, and that is going to guarantee the Q damage. So really nicely played there from Ucal.
Yeah, we often talk about champions who can get out of Cataclysm, being high value. And although Yunara can, you're so reliant on that major cooldown. It's a limiting factor.
Yeah, it's not one of those things where you can just press E at any time in order to get out, like a lot of our champions can. Let's have a look at this one more time, though. I mean, the Andil special delivery here of the Jarvan.
It's just a great angle, and even though the stun doesn't hit, forces the step back, and then the Cataclysm just gets so much value. Gideon arrives, but honestly, this is best case scenario because you force the Pantheon that long cooldown.
In the meantime, Magical Journey does come on through here as LazyFeel in a little bit of trouble. There's the Arc of Ruin, and the Spear will finish him off. Nicely played here. HANJIN BRION getting one back. Cosmic Binding not doing enough there after the fact.
I think just a bit over-aggressive. You know your jungler's on the top side doing grubs. I think you have to play more defensively. And especially
they assumed Gideon was there as well, you know, because it's Gideon grubs.
The typical assumption.
Yeah.
But I think when you're playing Corki Bard, you should be extremely hard to gank. You're only really going to die if you've opted into something, which Andil is trying to right now.
Yeah. I'm looking at this, I'm feeling like he's somewhat killable.
This is just the Bard vibes, to be fair. But, objective secure is going to continue with Willa picking up the Fierce Dragon. That being said, 2 kills in pocket. Beginning, he does pick up that Sundered Sky, although I think Willa will get his shortly after.
Yeah, it's a very scary Pantheon right now, but Teddy sitting at 0 and 2, even though he does have a few assists. It's not exactly how the Yunara wants to be right now, and LazyFeel is moving towards that Trinity Force at breakneck speed. Does get a little bit of a ward over the wall here. That's immediately going to get taken down, but does get the information that Teddy was looking for a reset. And casting will get the pull back onto Rich here. Turret is going to help out, but unable to hold him under there with the knocker. As casting still just trying to hold on in this lane. 24 CS behind at the moment. As Namgung, this is not where you're supposed to be. Skippy indeed, as he does get himself out of there. Control ward goes down. That will get a little bit of information. As Andil doesn't even get snared by the Slurkle. As Willa with his Sundered Sky does come on through now. And back to the top lane. That is the state of this.
We've been seeing a lot of it.
Indeed.
Andil once again just botting about. Still a close game at this point. Bit of a lead for Kiwoom DRX right now, but...
I don't think we haven't really... Nothing backbreaking has happened just yet. And obviously it's 11 minutes into the game.
And based on what we saw from last game, there's like a good 17 more fights to happen.
Oh yeah. And even then, if someone gets a massive lead, that won't mean anything at all. As Gideon looking to try and extend his, does find a little bit of a spear onto Andil, but nothing really going to come of it as they had backed away successfully. And Willa now looking for a little bit of an angle towards Loki, who's in a pretty awkward spot. Does just blast cone his way out. And that's going to give Ucal the opportunity to get himself his first plate here in this lane. Getting closer to the second one as well, as Ardent Sensor comes in for Namgung. And first item also done there for Teddy as well. So maybe the bros feeling okay about a team fight moving forward with those first item spikes to come in. But there is the Trinity Force done for LazyFeel as well. So next Drake, going to be a Hextech. So no more Hextech Souls. We've had 2 of them so far this series. Going to have something different in this game.
Does make it, I mean, obviously we haven't seen who gets the second dragon. The game's still close, but Kiwoom DRX get that second one. We've seen teams getting the second dragon, stacking it up, and really being a big value point. So if it is a lower value soul this time, could give more room for sort of pivoting, navigating the game from that point onwards.
Yeah, top lane quests both complete at the same time as Rich going aggressive, finds the Dominus here onto casting, doing a lot of damage as well. Casting getting closer to that passive being stacked up, though. Grim Deliverance up and available here at level 11. But Rich just wanting to get some control back here in this lane.
Yeah,
does almost have a 30 CS lead as well.
He's been doing really well in this lane matchup. Pretty sizable gold lead on the back of that CS lead, in the back of the plates. Hard to force an all-in against the Zaahen, especially with ult available. But I think Casting just looking to scale up into this game.
Yep.
Try and survive as best as possible. Mid lane, Loki has a bit of a lead in this matchup, but with those 2 kills, Ucal's doing pretty fine.
Yeah, Ucal sort of benefiting off, you know, Teddy's misposition, but also just being able to get a bunch of those last hits. First Blood Gold also going his way as well, so can afford to be a little bit further behind. Does have his Blackfire Torch already completed. Probably going for the Cosmic Drive build immediately afterwards. Just going to be boosting around the Rift. Kiwoom DRX still feeling like they're in control. The tempo vibes are with them, but they are not exactly the most clear at this point.
It's definitely feeling like a Brew and Brew, though.
Oh, yeah.
This is such a Brew and Brew game.
I really just, I mean...
And I think we needed it after Game 2. Game 2 was very intense, which was great.
Oh,
Don't get me wrong, I loved it. But this game, you know, has slowed down. We get a mellow out, and we get time to enjoy what we're
Sometimes
seeing.
that's what it's about, you know? It's not about analyzing, asking why. Questions don't really need a plot.
I think if you went into the second game and you really just tried to break down and ask why, you're just going to hit your brain.
Yeah. There's probably a reason why Cadril isn't streaming today. It's probably that reason. As Andil continuing to just do some bad things. He's wandering around. Some chimes to be picked up, as we can see in the river. Not electing to go that way at the moment. Willa, they knew that it worked out pretty well the last time. So they were thinking about a Jarvan delivery, but you can see HANJIN playing pretty respectfully here towards his bottom side. And once again, it gets to the point where Jonah Strong's like, let's look at the top lane. There's not a whole lot has been going on. We're clearing wards. Oh, there goes that ward. Nicely done, Gideon. There's another ward to be taken, though.
Oh,
no, -1. Where's the zoom in?
Man, that's painful.
Sleeping. Caught sleeping on the job.
Is this just going to be second dragon picked up? You can see HANJIN BRION want to try and move in, but maybe a bit too... No, Gideon's moving too generous, some would say.
Yeah, they are really just going to give that one up.
Yeah,
might be a trade for Shelly.
They clearly in this situation, they've gone, you know, first one's Infernal, second one's Hex Tech. Are we interested in
Yeah, it's an ocean. Oh, it's Chemtech! Oh, Ox! You said you were just going to chill out, you know? That's probably what did it. Weren't paying full attention, and that's why we get the Chemtech Soul. That being said, I mean, Renekton loves it. Zaahen loves it.
Zaahen loves it, yeah.
There's certainly some value here to be made.
Lulu likes it.
Yeah.
Extra heal and shield power. Oh my god, if HANJIN BRION get 4 Chemtech dragons...
Oh my goodness.
All the heal and shield power.
Yeah, think about Loki pressing Q and get like 3 health bars worth of shield.
So true, actually.
Yeah. It's probably not that much.
It definitely isn't, but...
Sometimes we like to exaggerate.
Okay, I think at some point in the game, this might be it. This might be the point where they start contesting.
Well, Gideon is just going to ult in, but it's after the fact, and he's just going to explode. The Wild Growth comes in to try and keep him alive, but it does not work. Casting's there, but he is just going to get ushered out of this battle. And Andil, he tanked a whole lot, and he gets out just fine. Kiwoom DRX looking fantastic.
I expected a bit more from HANJIN BRION on their first contest, but it just felt like they never really found a clean way to kick off the fight other than just launch the Pantheon in and hope it sticks. It didn't.
Yeah, it was put the Spartan in a potato cannon, and it didn't quite work out.
Yeah.
Now let's have a look at it once again. Yeah, the timings were just off, weren't they?
Yeah, I mean, the bottle, honestly,
true.
Great value. It was an uncomfortable position anyway for the... HANJIN BRION backline to move in to follow up, but the bottle just bought so much time. And you remember, this was a pick that was heavily respected against Kiwoom DRX in the LCK Cup. And he was having some great performances. It was getting banned frequently against them. And him getting his hand on it, even though, you know, we talked about, like, you know, Corki loves to be with an Ami. If Andil's going to play like this, I think he'll take a Bard.
100%. I think... a lot of people may have been lulled into a false sense of security with the start of the season that Kiwoom DRX did have. But good to see that Andil still has it in him. Playing some... he is a Bard player as well. You know, like the way that he's been playing it right on the edge. That's what you kind of need. And he's certainly utilizing it very, very well. Still very early days in this game, though. 2,500 gold is not really going to spell much of an end, especially with a composition like this. There's a Yunara and a Viktor on the other side. Playing for the late game is certainly something they'll be able to do. However, Kiwoom DRX are continuing to take down turrets. Top outer did fall to the hands of Ucal, and the bottom is going to suffer the same fate in just a moment. And there it is. So a bit of extra standing gold to be picked up here.
Now we're starting to get a pretty significant gold advantage for Kiwoom DRX. Feeling a pretty good spot right now. Some spikes coming through as well. The Manamene's not quite... Oh!
Teddy going aggressive. Not going to get flag and drag, though, as the Tempered Fate comes down and Andil just kills him. Meep slap to the head, and Teddy goes down. Wow, that big one did a lot of work as well, as Casting might be down to his passive as well, as Rich can just walk it off. Winning the 1v1 and winning the skirmish of whatever the heck that was in the mid lane as well. Kiwoom DRX just winning.
Yeah. I mean, just convincingly winning. After what looked like, you know, this looked like it could have been just a 2-0. They claw their way back in game 2 and now in a controlling position. You got to remember game 2, even though they won it, they never had a gold lead after about 8 minutes.
Yeah, and they didn't have a gold lead when they won.
Yeah.
Like, it was very much a HANJIN BRION game. And this is the first time that HANJIN BRION have found themselves on the back foot this entire series, which is crazy. As, yeah, Teddy just felt like he had an opportunity there, but LazyFeel pressed barrier and Teddy died.
Yeah. I think it's one of these moments where HANJIN BRION are clearly like, we need to do something. We're just slowly losing the game.
Well, Loki thought pushing a side lane was going to be the option. Cosmic Binding comes in, though. He's just snared, chain CC'd, and taken out.
I said slowly losing the game. Kind of quickly losing the game, honestly, at this point.
Yeah.
We see Loki get taken down, a nice gank, nice move from Andil. Andil really starting to make things happen in this one.
He is everywhere on this map right now. 1-1-5, by the way. A scoreline for 3 players on Kiwoom DRX. Kind of crazy. Don't see that too often. But very close to 100% kill participation as well. They've been playing like a team all over the map. And it's beautiful to see. This is exactly the time where they need to start popping off as well. This is a composition that's very mid-game focused, and they are doing exactly that. Teleport to come through here, as Casting going to make his way down towards this dragon, immediately cosmically bound, and the magical journey will get Andil out of there. He's got the Tempered Fate, though. That can be such a game changer in fights like this. In the river, Loki will finally make his way over. And a true 5v5 is about to break out as long as Rich gets over here. Tempered Fate goes wide.
What is that portal?
Yeah, I don't know. As that snare not quite going to work as well as Casting finds the 4-man knockup with the Wild Growth, and the pros, they manage to at least get a couple of kills to start this one off. They don't get the dragon though, and Will are able to lock that one down. Teddy wanting to get some kills here as he flashes after Rich. The Arc of Ruin comes in and he takes down the Crocodile. Now looking for even more, and he needs to find it because the pros kind of wanted more than just that, especially because they lost the Drake.
But it's still a huge play from Casting there to find the bot lane of Kiwoom DRX. Massive engage comes through. And honestly, in this situation, we see the ultimate come through. Doesn't really get value. The portal as well. Not setting up the flank they wanted. And then Casting flashes over as Rich goes for him. Dodges away. Huge combo to take out the enemy AD carry. The support dies as well. And then Teddy can just free hit from this point onward.
Yeah.
Chases through afterward. And is committed to getting this kill. Also, some great spacing here to not get stunned, and then even dodging away there from the damage from the Mel at the end.
Yeah, really nicely done. Now moves up to 2, 3, and 4. He can count, and he can also do damage, as 2.5 items have come on through very close to putting that Infinity Edge together. As Willow looking for an angle towards Casting, who also moved to 1-0-2. As someone who was just kind of losing lane the entirety of this game, to have a scoreline like that and to be within touching distance of the CS as well, pretty impressive out of the HANJIN top laner. And so, well and truly, back into this game. 2,000 gold, absolutely nothing. Let's see what Kiwoom DRX can do. Ball is in their court, is what I would say. Got to make a move.
Yeah. I think as well, just as time goes on, Teddy is going to become scary.
I think he might already be there.
I think he might already be there, but I think it just becomes harder and harder to deal with him when you're going for these unreliable things like the Bard stun. We've seen the Tempered Fate miss like 3 times in a row. And it is hard to hit, but...
Yeah. Sometimes it can be used well for zoning, but it wasn't really used well at all in the last fight as Gideon locks down the red. Teddy going to be able to collect his as well.
Just kind of fishing with it sometimes, and I'm not criticizing Andil too much on it, but if that's what you're trying to use to lock down the Yunara, this is why we so often see like Nautilus in the Yunara.
A little bit more reliable. Maybe Willow with a flag drag flash type situation is what they need. A good flank angle from Rich perhaps to get on top, but I mean, now I'm going, okay, that is a Mega Cone in towards casting. That was scared me a little bit, but ultimately not going to mean too much of anything at all. Just gets Rich over to the wave so he can wipe it out. And the game slows down. So, Kiwoom DRX still have a lead. They also have Soul Point, which is a big deal, given the fact that if they play it better next time, they should be able to grab themselves a dragon. 2 minutes on the clock for that one. And I think HANJIN BRION not out of the woods just yet. They're still going to have to find themselves a good team fight to stop this dragon stacking from happening, and they're going to have to do it every 5 minutes.
I do think it is, obviously, it's not a Hextech Soul, right? Not as much of a concern, but...
It is a good point.
Still not something you want to...
3 health bars of shield, Aux.
Yeah.
Wait, that was the Viktor.
Oh, yeah, true. IE comes through for Teddy, though. That's a big spike to have going into this fight. A big one to have available.
Yep.
They have lost kind of control of the area around the dragon, though. Vision not really offered at all.
We do have Loki moving pretty far up as well, and you can see they know exactly what's going on. Teleport behind him. Rich. We were talking about that flank angle. This is another opportunity as he does manage to lock him down. Dash cannon out from the Viktor as he looks to try and create the space, but put into a circle and will be taken out. Rich collects him with the Cull the Meek. And Kiwoom DRX with 1 man down on the other side. The Baron spawned about 5 minutes ago, and they're looking for that as their opportunity. Down will go the ward, and I don't know whether HANJIN BRION can do anything about this, especially with casting in that bottom lane, not teleporting, not moving. I think HANJIN BRION know that this is gone.
Yeah, they're just trying to take some towers in return.
Yeah. Oh, Tempered Fate. Teddy gonna have to ult to get out.
Though. So now no ult for the dragon.
And the Baron is now gone as well, so they'll have push in every single lane. Kiwoom DRX really just, they stole the win away in game 2, and they have just ran with it.
Yeah, absolutely. You even see LazyFeel finishing an item as well for a big spike coming in. So Baron in pocket, Soul is up, but you burn Teddy's ultimate going into it. Loki down flash as well. Ooh. This is a great spot for Kiwoom DRX, and what can Bro do to respond is the question.
They can give this dragon and then flip Elder. That's what they can.
It's so true.
It's the writing's on the wall. We know that that is how it's supposed to happen. Still, that gold lead has not changed. Kiwoom DRX, though, they haven't started off this Drake. Willow will finally throw a Q into it. But I don't think HANJIN BRION have much of a hope of contesting this. They do have a cheeky little ward. But yeah, as you can see, we're not losing our lives over a Chemtech Soul. As the Baron is also a big problem. They need to try and defend to stop losing all of these inner turrets. They only have push in this bottom lane, though. So they are going to be able to at least take this turret down, but the rest of the lanes look kind of okay. Except LazyFeel is pushing in mid. Still now with the Chemtech Soul up and available. Kiwoom DRX, oh, LazyFeel. Teddy learned from the errors of previous engagements not to go too aggressive into the Corki. All right, is this where the snowball starts to roll? You know? Feeling like the tempo vibe's moving steadily towards Kiwoom DRX. However, they're going to try and go for the angle. Oh, there's the flash in for Teddy, but he just goes down. They didn't have enough members here as Gideon shows up, but he's just dead as well. And Kiwoom DRX, they'll take down the turret and they'll look for even more.
I mean, that was such an aggressive play from Teddy to try and take control of the game again, but it just does not work. Didn't have the back of the team as well, only really Gideon.
Is this the end of the game?
This might just
surely not. I mean, Loki's got ult, right? He can just Arcane Storm the wave.
It is a Baron up wave.
Yeah, I mean, they still have a minute left on this Baron as well. That's a lot of time Well, Casting looking for the angle. He gets flashed on there by Rich, and Chain CC, no passive, no chance. Rich sacrifices himself, and the Nexus turrets are now under fire. First one down, second one to fall, and Kiwoom DRX will get their first victory in the LCK for 2026. What an incredible series and an incredible turnaround from this team.
It was on a nice edge in game 2. Honestly, I think there will have been people who tuned out